People living nearby say the smoke could be seen for miles. A large fire ripped through a southern Kentucky pallet company tonight.
A deadly crash shut down a Madison County road for hours tonight. What we've learned about the investigation.
Coming up, I'll tell you why allergies are so prevalent right now.
Tracking, alerting, protecting. WKYT News starts now with breaking news.
Good evening. Right now, emergency crews are on the scene of an Amtrak train derailment in Philadelphia. They say that some injuries have been reported.
Investigators say train 188 derailed a few hours ago while traveling between Washington and New York. They're not sure what caused the derailment. Dozens of police officers and firefighters have responded, and roads in that area have been blocked off. People on the train say it was going into a turn when it shook and derailed. Keep checking WKYT.com throughout the night for updates. Fire departments from 2 counties were called in to help, and tonight firefighters are still on the scene of a large fire at a business near the Lincoln-Pulaski County line.
That fire started just after 6 o'clock tonight at J&J Pallet on Highway 70, not far from Eubank. Firefighters say they ran into some problems while battling the flames. Our Garrett Weimer talked to some people who live nearby. It's our top story at 11.
It wasn't the sirens, the lights, or the smoke. The sheer size of the flames got neighbors' attention.
I walked out of my house to the driveway and I seen smoke up in the air and flames shooting about 100 and 150 feet up in the air.
Firefighters say they got the call around 6 o'clock, but even with crews from all over the area on hand to help, the fire continued to burn into the night. To make matters worse, firefighters say there are no fire hydrants nearby. That means crews have had to haul water from Eubank in tanker trucks to help fight the fire. It's now called J&J, but folks in the area may know the place as Monroe Pallet. June Monroe says she and her late husband built the place and ran it for nearly 30 years. Even though she no longer owns it, watching it all burn before her eyes wasn't easy to handle because of all the memories there now turned to ash.
It makes your heart ache. All my kids growing up, when I thought it was going to get the house, I really got upset.
Even folks without those memories say the fire isn't something they're likely to forget.
I've lived on this ridge for 15 years now, and this is the first major thing I've seen up here like this. If the wind had changed directions, we'd all been in trouble.
In Lincoln County, Garrett Weimer, WKYT.
Lincoln County's fire chief says investigators are not sure yet what started the fire.
Tonight, investigators are trying to figure out what led to a crash in Madison County that killed 1 person and injured 4 others. The crash happened around 5:30 this afternoon on Jacks Creek Road near Boone Way. That is just north of Richmond. State police tell us 2 cars were involved in the crash. A woman riding in one of the cars was killed. Her name has not been released. Police say a man was airlifted to UK hospital and 3 other people were taken there by ground ambulance. Their conditions are not known. Jacks Creek Road reopened about 9 tonight.
State investigators say they found some disturbing things in a Knox County daycare that's at the center of an abuse case. Last week, Tracy Ford, the owner of Rainbows and Lollipops Learning Academy, entered an Alford plea for a misdemeanor abuse charge. She was sentenced to probation. Investigators say she sat on a 2-year-old last month. Both police and the child's family were upset the case was resolved so quickly. State inspectors now say they were looking into the daycare before the abuse case. They claim Ford punished children for not cleaning up toys by withholding food. And staff members claim there often was not enough food. Inspectors also claim the same 2-year-old from the abuse case was found with a soiled diaper and clothing and had raw skin because of it. Tonight, police are looking for a man they say stole a dump truck but ran off after the truck became stuck. The Laurel County Sheriff's Office says the man stole the truck from a work site on Highway 80 this morning, but deputies think he didn't know how to drive it. They say that when he went down Bullock Road, the truck became stuck at a railroad underpass. Deputies say the man jumped out of the truck and ran off after trying to go through the underpass twice.
After a week of summer-like weather, it finally feels like spring again. Some cooler air has moved into the bluegrass. Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey has an early look at your forecast. Hi, Chris.
Hi, Amber. Yeah, we go from way up to a little on the downside out there. This is more typical, though, for early May compared to those mid-80s we've had for the past several days. Where do we go from here? It's the daily breakdown to get you caught up. Cool night ahead of us. It may be even a little chilly first thing tomorrow morning, though temperatures over the next few days will feel on the great side before we track some storm chances back in by the end of the week toward the weekend. Let's compare temperatures now to what we were dealing with 24 hours ago, and those numbers are a whole lot colder than at this same point last night. Richmond, Madison County, we're an unlucky 13 degrees colder than 24 hours ago, down to 57 degrees into Richmond. And in Lexington, most areas have dropped into the mid to upper 50s with a little cloud cover out there. Those temperatures slowly but surely continuing to drop. Nothing showing up on Live First Alert Defender. How about your Wednesday forecast? Chilly start out the door tomorrow morning with a lot of mid-40s that'll show up for lunchtime, 65. Heading home, those temperatures will be closing in on, no, not 86, but 70 degrees with another great day that is taking shape throughout the area. Guys, when I come back in a little bit, we will track some 80s back into that 7-day forecast, along with some thunderstorms as well.
All right, Chris, thank you. Well, if you have been sneezing or coughing lately, you are in good company. Some doctors tell us this is the worst spring allergy season they've seen in years.
Some people say their allergies are so bad right now they first thought something else was making them sick. So what do doctors think is causing this? Monique Blair has the story new at 11.
It's that time of year. Fresh cut grass, flowers blooming, and people sneezing.
If you don't have allergies in central Kentucky, you just don't know it yet.
Emergency physician Ryan Stanton says as a result of all the April rain, now there's mold. Add to that, we're seeing a lot of new growth after the trees took a hard hit in the winter. Dr. Stanton says it's likely going to get worse before it gets better.
We're expecting it to be pretty impressive in terms of the allergies, just because of the type of weather we've had.
But it's not only allergies going around. Dr. Stanton says lately the emergency room he works in has also seen quite a few patients with viruses. Dr. Stanton says telling the difference between allergies and a virus is actually pretty hard. Ben Anderson says he didn't see signs of allergies until he moved to Kentucky. But at first he thought what he was experiencing was actually much worse.
I thought I had a cold or maybe a sinus infection or something, and they told me that what I had wasn't anything like that.
What he had was allergies, and he was given nasal spray to treat his symptoms. Dr. Stanton says symptoms of allergies are usually prolonged, whereas virus symptoms will spring up on you quicker, and viruses are treated based on your symptoms.
Antibiotics do no good. That's a huge misconception that we see here in this area is antibiotics. Those do no good for viruses. They do no good for allergies, so those should not be part of the solution.
In Lexington, Monique Blair, WKYT.
Dr. Stanton tells us that if you suffer from allergy symptoms, they will likely lessen once we get into the dog days of summer.
Tonight, we're tracking the search for a Laurel County man who has not been seen in nearly a month. The Laurel County Sheriff's Office has issued a golden alert for 69-year-old Earl Turley. Deputies say he hasn't been home since April 15th, but they say his wife didn't report him missing until tonight. Deputies say Turley's wife told them he's gone away like this before, but has always come back home. They say he has some medical conditions. Deputies think that Turley's driving a 2011 silver Toyota Camry.
With just a week to go until the primary, it appears the race for governor in the Republican primary is going to be very close. The newly released WKYT Herald Leader Bluegrass Poll shows Matt Bevin, James Comer, and Hal Heiner are all within 2 points of each other. Will T. Scott trails far behind. 14% of likely voters polled are still undecided. On the Democratic side, Jack Conway is far ahead. But how does Conway match up with potential Republican opponents? We have those poll results on our website, WKYT.com. You can also see how this poll compares to the last Bluegrass poll in March.
A WKYT investigation has found that some Kentucky coroners have not had their state-required training in years. Records from the Department of Criminal Justice Training say that 8 of the state's coroners have expired coroner certifications. According to state law, a certified coroner must complete both the basic 40-hour training course for new coroners and the 16-hour in-service course required every year after.
They're called out to make a death investigation. and they're not certified to make that death investigation, then that opens an entire gambit of things that can happen that are not good. None of them are good.
On WKYT.com, we have a complete list of Kentucky coroners who have expired certifications. Just look for this story.
A Lexington police detective received some national recognition tonight at an award ceremony. We'll tell you about his special honor in 10 minutes.
But first, some help is on the way for people whose homes or businesses were damaged during a March winter storm.
Well, for the third time this year, President Obama has declared a federal disaster for Kentucky. This time it is for the winter storm that brought heavy snow to much of Kentucky during the first week of March. The declaration means federal assistance will now be available for people who had property damage during the storm. The president made similar declarations for winter storms in February and for flooding just last month.
He says gas prices in Kentucky are not fair. So now Attorney General Jack Conway has filed a federal lawsuit. The details in 3 minutes. Tonight, Kentucky Attorney General Jack Conway has filed a federal lawsuit over gas prices.
Conway is suing the Marathon Petroleum Company. He claims the merger of Marathon and Ashland Oil nearly 20 years ago created a monopoly of the gas supply, leading to higher gas prices in Kentucky. Conway claims the company is violating antitrust laws, and the lawsuit claims Marathon is keeping competitors from entering the state. Marathon leaders deny the claims and say they will fight the lawsuit in court.
Tonight, police need your help finding a man they say cashed stolen checks throughout the state. State police released a surveillance picture of the suspect. They say a Florida woman told them her checkbook was stolen in Richmond last month. And police say the man you see here cashed checks from that checkbook at Kroger stores in Corbin, London, and Louisville. They think he's driving a silver Impala.
Tonight, some of the nation's top cops were honored in Washington, D.C. The National Association of Police Organizations says these men and women went above and beyond the call of duty. As Kelly Meyer tells us, a Lexington detective was among those recognized tonight.
For Detective Chris Russell of Lexington Police Department, keeping his community safe is part of his everyday routine.
You show up to work every day and you try to do the best you can, and you don't expect these extra things.
That normal routine has caught the attention of the National Association of Police Organizations, earning him a seat at this year's Top Cops Awards.
It's amazing. I work for a great police department. Our chief is fantastic. So the commander that put me in, you couldn't ask to work for better people.
Detective Russell was nominated by his fellow officers and brought here to Washington, D.C. for the annual awards dinner with Vice President Joe Biden.
I challenge anyone to think of a group of women and men who had more courage, had such an intense sense of loyalty than all of the officers that we honor today.
Now Detective Russell is ready to head back to Lexington, back to doing what he loves.
I hope that I've made an impact on the lives of the individuals I work with. I got into policing like everyone else, thinking I might change the world, but then I soon realized that changing one person's world is really all you have to look forward to, and it's why you're there in the end.
In Washington, Kelly Meyer, WKYT.
Well, congratulations to him. The Top Cops Awards fall during National Police Week. Events continue in Washington and around the country through Friday.